Sexual exploitation is one of the most common forms of human trafficking in Jamaica. Girls and women of all ages are the main victims. In today's edition of Jamaica Magazine, we bring the issue of human trafficking to light, highlighting real cases and smart solutions. Stick around for these details and more right after the break.
Protect yourself from the flu virus. Visit your nearest health center or doctor to get the flu vaccine. Cover your mouth and nose when coughing and sneezing. Wash your hands regularly with soap and water or by using an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Avoid the spread of germs by not touching your eyes, mouth, or nose. And be sure to regularly disinfect surfaces and objects that are used often. Remember, your health is your responsibility.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Friday, March 13. Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton is currently heightening Western Jamaica's level of response for the novel coronavirus, COVID-19. The move is another step in the island's risk assessment mechanism and follows the confirmation of 6 new cases on the island. This brings to 8 the number of confirmed cases. They include 2 males who arrived on March 7 from Trinidad, having traveled from Malaysia through Dubai and London. Another male who recently traveled from Manchester, England, was taken to hospital in an ambulance on March 11 after falling ill at his hotel. A Jamaican overseas ship worker who arrived on February 25 presented to hospital with symptoms on March 10. The other 2 cases were contracted locally, having come in contact with the first person who was confirmed with COVID-19 on the island. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Health is trying to trace persons who may have come in contact with those who have tested positive for the virus. Persons who were on flight AA 1515 from Miami to Montego Bay on March 7 are being urged to call 888-754-7792 or email covid19@moh.gov.jm. The ministry says it is seeking to expedite its process of contacting all persons who came in on the flight using the information on the flight manifest. The second person to be confirmed with COVID-19 came into the island aboard that flight. The second patient is a Jamaican national who traveled from London to Miami and connected from Miami to Montego Bay. Similar attempts are being made to trace all persons who came in contact with the first patient to test positive. The ministry is seeking to make contact with all persons who attended the funeral and burial which followed at Meadowrest Memorial Gardens for the late Gloria Clark on Saturday, March 7, 2020. Individuals are asked to contact the Health Ministry at any of the following numbers: 888-1-LOVE, that's 888-663-5683, 888-754-7792, 876-542-5998, 876-542-6007, 876-542-6006, 876-542-5998. Persons may also send an email with their contact details to covid19@moh.gov.jm or jacovid19facts@gmail.com. The Ministry of Education says it is providing online resources for grades 1 to 9, while frequent learning tips will be provided via social media during the 14 days that all public schools have been ordered closed. The directive to close schools was issued by Prime Minister Andrew Holness yesterday and took effect today. The authorities will be monitoring the situation and provide schools and parents with an update after 10 days.
That would give us time as well to complete our preparations to ensure that those schools who would not have internet connectivity, that they could receive materials to distribute to students so that they can continue their education at home.
Parents and guardians are being advised to retrieve students from boarding institutions, including teachers' colleges. Meanwhile, the Primary Exit Profile PEP performance task tests scheduled for March 19 and 20 have been postponed. These exams would have fallen within the 14-day school closure period. Minister of State Alanda Terilong says the ministry will be training teachers on how to carry out online classes.
We will be making provisions to enable online training or continued education online. We start training 180 teachers in our online platform so that they will be able to give lessons online.
Additionally, learning kits in the form of printed materials can be collected at the regional offices and established drop-off points. A PEP hotline has been activated to support questions related to exam and offer psychosocial support. Government is restricting visitation on the island's prisons and infirmaries as it enforces regulations to contain the spread of COVID-19. Effective Monday, all external visits to penal facilities will be suspended for 2 weeks. During this period, members of the public will not be allowed to take food or care packages to correctional centers. Meanwhile, local government minister Desmond McKenzie says the decision to restrict visitation to infirmaries and Golden Age homes is based on the consideration that the elderly are among vulnerable groups for more serious complications from the virus.
We are also putting a 30-day ban on receiving new clients to the facility. Secondly, we will be putting in temporary employment for continuous cleaning and sanitization of the infirmary to be done almost on a daily basis.
And finally, members of the public are being urged to consider the use of alternative means of sanitization in light of the threat of the novel coronavirus. Industry and Commerce State Minister Floyd Green says there are other products aside from hand sanitizers and disinfectants that are readily available in the marketplace for use. They include bleach, Dettol, salve, and antibacterial soaps.
I think it's very, very important that people recognize that there are alternatives and that the alternatives are in very solid supply, so there's no shortage in these alternatives, and some of them are even more effective than some of the things that we have gotten used to.
He adds that local producers of sanitization products such as Paramount Trading and rum distiller J. Ray and Nephew will also be ramping up production and manufacturing hours to meet the increasing demand. At the same time, Minister Green is cautioning the public against the use of inferior products that are deemed to be useful for sanitization, as well as the mixing of certain ingredients.
We have asked our National Compliance Regulatory Authority to really focus on items around disinfectants, hand sanitizers, those products that we see are in high demand. What we do not want are inferior products being passed off to customers and giving a false sense of safety when they in fact do not have the required ingredients. And the NCRA has already been out in the field, and they will be making public their findings as they come across products that are saying that they do X when they really do not have that capacity to so do.
Minister Green was speaking on Thursday during a meeting with manufacturers and distributors of disinfecting agents. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Human trafficking is modern slavery. It has many forms and faces. Men, women, and children of all ages, race, and class can become prey. They are exploited through the use of force, fraud, or coercion. They are controlled by another person, treated as property, and stripped of their rights. Human trafficking is modern slavery. Let's put an end to it. As promised, up next is the second of a 4-part series of features on human trafficking. In today's edition, we highlight the warning signs of sex trafficking.
She was trafficked when she was 11. Now 18, she has decided to share parts of her story on camera in the hope that it will help others.
When I was 12 years old, I was living with my mom and my siblings. And My mom used to leave me, go out for 2-3 weeks, did not come back home. Well, when my mom is not there, my neighbor come over my house, and when he give me money, he wants something in return. That means sex. So I give it to him in order to get the money to look after my family. When my mommy came back, our next door neighbor used to give her money, and I used to have sex with him, which I didn't know that was human trafficking until I reached the facility that I am in right now.
Marissa did not want to share her entire story on camera. At age 11, she was harbored at a rural location and prevented from attending school regularly. She was transferred frequently to several persons in the parish by her mother and associates for sexual exploitation. At age 12, Marissa became pregnant and was placed in protective care by the CDA.
The target population in terms of victims are among children and youth, properly defined. There are some victims who don't even recognize that they are victims.
Anika, hurry up and get all the things out of the car now, man. Me I get late for work and our money I have to make. Come on.
Someone wants you directions.
Directions? To go where?
Bullberry Road, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, man. She will find our way. No problem. Come, just get the things and come inside, all right?
How much longer?
Excuse me?
How much longer before I go to school?
Listen, Anika, I told you very soon. All right, I just need to make a little bit more money, and then.
And then what? I'm gonna talk to my mother. You take out my phone. You take out my birth certificate, my passport, my driver's license, everything. What more you want?
Hey, all right. Listen, man, listen. Calm down. Me never take you in my house for hear this nagging every single day. Okay? If this can't agree with you, you can find yourself back a bush. Anika. You remember Daddy Blacks? So he was telling me that there is something that you could actually do to help bring in some more money.
Daddy.
Yeah.
Daddy's a pimp. I'm a pimp. So you mean for
Hold on. Listen, man. It's either you do this or you go on back a country. Money and money. And besides, now you say you want to go to school. Anika, it's just a little sex.
Globally, women and children remain the number one victims, and Jamaica holds true to that. And so we have women and children being the most predominant target group. And of course, if you're to break it down further, you'll find that amongst the child population, it is girls who are disproportionately represented. If it's domestic servitude, it's a girl, for example, who has come to Kingston to live with a relative who is to give her opportunities, but she never sees those opportunities and becoming a virtual slave. If it's sexual exploitation, again, predominantly, it's the girls who will be in the massage parlors, who will be dancing, and who will be offering sexual favors to men.
Daddy.
How things, Daddy? Yeah, boss. Have your thing here. We got a new girl today, you know.
Is everything this?
Everything, that.
You sure?
Dead sure.
You know, wow, what happened last week, happened again, you know.
No, man, everything good, man. Is it that? Yeah, man.
Lean off me car, man.
Sorry, boss. Sorry, boss. Sorry, boss. Sorry, boss.
All right. See you next week.
Yes, boss. Next time. Yeah, man.
We want to educate people to realize that this crime is huge. It's massive. 150 billion US dollars on an annualized basis every year. It is lucrative, as mentioned before, so it must not be taken lightly. A big component part of human trafficking is recruiting, trying to get the vulnerable into their space. They need you. So as a consequence, we call it their Achilles heel. They must recruit. We ask people that if you're looking for a job, for example, and you scroll through the advertisement, whether it be in the traditional media or on social media, and you see something offering a job, but at the end you see you're required to have an open mind, then I ask you to rubbish that, because no professional organization will require you to come to the job requiring you to have this open mind.
If you know or suspect that someone is a victim of human trafficking, please call 188-PROTECT for victims under the age of 18 years, or 311 for victims over 18 years. You may also call the TIP unit at 967-1389 or email tip.ocid@jcf.gov.jm.
Domestic violence and abuse has always been going on. Say to victims, report the matter, seek help, go to your local police. There are persons who are trained in the various divisions to deal with domestic violence and domestic abuse. We have two centers that are currently operational. One is at the Matilda's Corner Police Station. You can call the Matilda's Corner Police Station for that. The other one is at Air 5 Headquarters. That's on the same compound as Constant Spring Police Station. The number is 702-5120 or 702-5121. Co-workers, neighbors, family members, don't sit silently and say, oh, I knew they were having difficulties, but I didn't know the extent. No. Seek help on their behalf and tell your victim or your friend who is the victim, say to them, listen, I want to help you and I'm going to help you, but I have to seek help outside of me.
$232.8 million will be allocated to the Victim Services Division of the Citizen Security and Justice Program this fiscal year. The funds will be used to provide intervention programs for children exposed to violence and trauma. This allocation and more are outlined in the 2020-2021 estimates of expenditure for the Ministry of Justice. Watch this.
This new face of justice, Mr. Speaker, will graduate into what will be the mantra of the Ministry of Justice: first-class justice. Not only facilities, service, but the delivery generally across Jamaica.
Well, this financial year, that mantra will be pushed and backed by a $10 billion budget. So we heard the sound of the gavel, following the verdict being made. And what is to inevitably follow is the Justice Ministry pumping more capital into mobilizing its work. A substantial amount of that capital, $453.5 million, will go towards the construction and improvement of courthouses. Specifically, it will complete renovation of the offices of the Director of Public Prosecution and pre-investment activities for the Manchester, St. Anne and St. James Regional Court complexes and the St. Catherine Parish Court. The project started in 2013 and is expected to be completed in March 2021.
Our goal is for courtrooms to be beacons of hope and centers of excellence.
A further decree was made to fund the Justice Sector Reform Program. This project was created to improve access in the justice sector and the treatment of children who come in contact with the criminal justice system. $255 million is dedicated to the renovation and equipping of the Mandeville and St. Anne family courts and the retrofitting of the St. Thomas Justice Center. It will also allow for pre-investment activities for the St. Andrew, Clarendon and St. Catherine Justice Centers and the St. Catherine Family Court.
It's first-class facilities, the beginning of the provision of first-class facilities to be matched by first-class delivery of service.
And the ministry is still advancing the Citizen Security and Justice Program's work in targeted communities through gender-responsive justice services. Under this program, $232.8 million will be allocated to the Victim Services Division. It's to provide intervention programs for children exposed to violence and trauma and to train court officials and police officers. The money will also be used for the Legal Aid Council, restorative justice, child diversion, and initiatives of the Justice Training Institute.
And I want to thank the Canadian government and the United Nations in assisting us and all Jamaicans as we look forward to a better and peaceful Jamaica.
Through a writ-like action, an assurance was made to provide the ministry with $2 billion and the Justice Departments with $6.48 billion, all under the recurrent budget for this financial year. The ministry's $2.19 billion will assist with executive direction and administration and facilitate access to justice.
We are delivering on that promise. We have made considerable progress, and over the next few years, we expect every aspect of the justice system to become first class. We want and will accept nothing less.
Salt Awareness Week is being observed from March 9 to 15 under the theme Hide and Seek. The theme was chosen because the food industry is often able to hide large amounts of salt in our food. And now is the time for us to seek out low salt options. How can we do this? Read the nutrition facts label on food items. Prepare your own meals and limit the amount of salt in your recipes. Buy more fresh meats, fruits and vegetables and replace processed foods. Rinse canned foods containing sodium, such as beans, tuna, and vegetables. Add natural spices to your food instead of salt. Try coriander, black pepper, nutmeg, parsley, ginger, rosemary, and garlic and onion powder. In doing this, we are one step closer to living healthier, longer lives in our island home, Jamaica, the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. And that's all the time we have for you today on Jamaica Magazine. Thanks so much for browsing with us. As you go, do remember that you can re-watch today's program on our website, jis.gov.jm. Don't forget that you are also able to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram for the latest news and information. I'm Adrian Atkinson, reminding you to take better care of yourself and do what good.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.